Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Karibu sana. My name is Beatrice and I have officially been in Tanzania for a month, and yes, I came alone. Well, we're never alone physically. We are never, spiritually we're never alone, but you know, physically I came by myself. Originally, my family and I are from Liberia. You know, things wasn't working out for some of my family, especially in the US. I saw a lot of my family and friends relocating to different parts of Africa, and still, you know, at the time when everyone started relocating, it didn't click in yet. It wasn't, you know, the Most High wasn't ready for me to come back home yet to the motherland. So I was still in the US, had a pretty decent contract for a few months, but for me, it just seemed like I wasn't living life at all. I wasn't living. As you all know, everything going on with the US, especially with just buying simple things like groceries, we had to wait in long lines, and it was very cold. It was very, very cold around the time that I left. Even just to go to basic stores now, there's long line. You have to wait in. And another thing is, a lot of the restaurants, I noticed that I will go to a restaurant or just order something to eat the first time, the food will be good. And then if I go back to that same restaurant or order from that same restaurant, the quality wasn't good at all. Like one time I felt like, I'm not sure if there was a sore or something in my mouth after I ate, or I noticed it as I was eating, and I was like, what is that? And then I had to stop eating the food. And then even with me coming from Maryland, the part of Maryland I was living in was a pretty a nice area, but for some reason, you know, the food stopped tasting the same. Even basic things like your produce start tasting the same. And I know the quality of the food has never really been great because of the amount of chemicals, and everything has GMO in it. But for some reason, past year or so, things just really been different. The food's been tasting different. And I am someone that's very in tune with myself, very in tune with my body. So the moment I put something, I consume something, and it doesn't align with my body automatically, you know, lets me know like, hey, you know. And I mean, that's pretty much all of us. But if you understand what I'm trying to say to you, when you know, you can read between the lines. And then even from that, just basic things of going to the creek, going to the park to read a book. It seemed like I was being followed. I was being followed with people that are wearing masks and glasses, sunglasses or shades in the winter time. So just imagine that in the winter time, it's like there's no sun out. Why are you wearing shades? And it was very obvious. Like every time I tried to do something, it seemed like, you know, there was something around. And even within my building, a lot of people, I wasn't seeing any familiar faces anymore. A lot of my neighbors that have been in an apartment complex for over 5 years, I wasn't seeing them. I was again seeing people that walked around with shades and masks. Like you couldn't see couldn't see anyone's face. You couldn't see any faces. You couldn't really interact. Almost everything, all the amenities in the building were pretty much shut down. Even to go to places, just simple things like going to the gym, there was a line, there was a wait. They couldn't pass, or the within the building itself, there was a limit of 95% capacity, so that's between both the employees and those and the customers, and that was all around within. That was pretty much everywhere. Grocery stores, gyms, pretty much anywhere I went. It just seemed like there was long lines, and imagine waiting for over 25 minutes in the cold, you know, and especially with everything going on. And then when you start, quote unquote, having similar, you know, symptoms, it's like, you know, are you sure you want to get tested and X, Y, and Z? And it's like, it's the winter, you know. Your body naturally respond to the cold with these to cold temperature with these symptoms. So it was a lot going on. Yeah, even when I was done with work, went outside, I stopped seeing a lot of people. Especially, I was no longer seeing blacks. And in the area I'm from, had a mixture of everyone in Silver Spring. Had literally a mixture of everyone. DC wasn't too far, Virginia wasn't too far, Maryland is right there. But especially being few minutes away from DC, I saw a bunch of, you know, people all the time. You were constantly seeing people all the time, you know. Not because it was cold out, or this group not coming out because it was cold. No, you saw everyone. Okay, they were bundled up, but you still saw people. But I stopped seeing people. I was no longer seeing anyone. I felt like I was in my own little dimension. I created a reality, and I put myself in there to make sure I was protected. But oh, US. But there was a lot going on for me. You know, living life was way more important than anything else. And the Most High kept me in the US for a certain period of time till I was spiritually, mentally, and physically ready to come back home, here to the motherland. But there's a lot going on in the US. It's a lot going on. And I remember saying to myself, I remember focusing on myself. You know, I remember fasting a lot. I was fasting a lot because sometimes I would eat the food and then it's just like, I mean, the quality, just not food, but yeah. So I kept fasting. I meditated a lot. I set my intentions. My vision board, you should have seen my vision board. My vision board was like, look, Tanzania, plane, passport, Africa, home. That was my vision board. It was me, Tahuti, no one else. You know, I spent a couple of months by myself, me and Tahuti chatting back and forth, and that's how I made it home. So I know I said a lot, but when you understand, when you hear things beyond the physical, you understand exactly what it is I'm saying. It was a lot going on, you know. There's still a lot going on, but what I saw with my own two eyes was a lot going on. Like, I remember going places like Whole Foods, especially grocery stores. You know, when you're from the US, you see certain groups, you see certain people in grocery stores. You just, everything was different. It's like I was just walking around and just breathing and not living, not going in the grocery store in the same area I've been living in for years and years and years, and nothing looked the same. Nothing looked the same. Nothing felt the same. Nothing was the same. So for me, it was just like, it's time. It's time to go home. And you know, I studied information systems management, and that's within IT. And I remember saying to myself, you know, let's try to get a contract before, let's try to get another contract before going back home. But nah, the Most High was like, it's time for you to go back home. I remember requesting my passport, and my passport came back with my middle name misspelled. My middle name is everything. My grandmother gave me that name, and it's not even that. And I was just like, why is my middle name misspelled? Like, it's just one letter. You know how you manage, like, the letter, like how you manage to make that mistake. Like, all the documents you have has my middle name on there, spelled correctly. And it's not one of those common middle names that you probably just made a mistake because you can spell it another way, or you already have another way, another spelling of the name already embedded in your head, so you made that mistake and you spelled it incorrectly. And I remember saying to the Most High, hey, if you can get, I'm going to fill out this paper, send it to U.S. Department of State to have this fixed and return to me. All I want, I just want my name spelled correctly. And if you just do that for me, I will pack up and leave. I will leave and stop worrying about money, and if I have enough saved, how I'm going to be able to survive. I will just pick up and go back home. Can you believe in this everything that's going on? I sent my passport through, and I remember I guess the rep working at USPS or UPS, one of them, giving me a tracking number. And I remember I waited about a week. No, I waited about 3 days because I was so nervous. I was like, please, if you can get it to me within 2 months, I'm going back home. I remember checking it within 3 days, and I remember it saying, the status said that there was no update. And the passport hadn't even left the UPS store, USPS, that the information was only put in the system, and it hadn't been sent out yet. And just imagine, I was stressed. I wasn't stressed, but I was worried, I was scared, I was anxious, because I wanted to make sure I made it out of the US without things being shut down. And I remember synchronicity. I remember seeing my 222s, like, hey, stop worrying. I remember seeing my 444s. We are around 555, 777. And then, but then I was like, okay, you know, the Most High is communicating with me. Check again in 2 days. And that was a week total. 2 days later, I checked. Said, nope. It still hasn't left. Oh man, the information was put in the system, but it still hasn't left. And I was just like, oh no, 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 no. Oh, I remember anxiety. Just look, my picture on my passport looked even better than it did. I mean, come on, 2 weeks. And they were saying, and I remember reading, and even I reached out to the passport department, I remember them saying it would take anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. But it came in less than 2 weeks. And I was like, okay, ancestor, I mean, I know you're always here. I know you're always around me, you know? And I'm just saying this to say, if you're in the same position, if you're thinking about money, saving, you know, making sure you have enough before you come back home to the motherland, wherever you choose, but come to Tanzania so we can be besties, okay? So we can be friends, okay? And enjoy this beautiful land together. But if you're sitting there saying to yourself, oh, I need to save more. I need to make sure I have this before I go back home. Let me tell you, when it's your time to come, when that calling comes in, and your ancestors are telling you, go back home, please pack up, come on over, okay? Come on over. Whites are all over here, enjoying this land. Asians are all over here, enjoying this land. To live in Tanzania, okay? Cost of living is affordable. I have a video coming up for that. I went to Kariakou market yesterday, because I was running out of my herbs and things that I grow, which is here in abundance. I went to get things like moringa powder. You know how much that costs? Moringa, 1,000 Tanzanian shillings. You know how much that equates to? 43 cents US dollars. Fresh mango, okay? For one medium-sized mango, organic, no added, no jam or nothing. For one, miatano is 500 in Tanzanian shillings. I think that equates to less than a cent. I was able to get things like baobab powder, a lot, for like 1,000. My turmeric powder, a lot. Miatano, I think he said mianane, and I think that's 900, and that's less than 43 cents. We sat there and we negotiated until we got to miatano, which is 500, and that's less than a cent. And they were cracking up because they hear the accent, but I'm like, no, we're not, no, you know. And I know the money and stuff, so I can say like elf moja, that's 1,000. Elf yeah, that's 1,000. My brain literally just froze as if I don't know my numbers, and the money and stuff. But man, it's peaceful here. When you get here, yeah, they stare a little bit. A little bit. Yeah, they stare. But it's not staring like something that will irritate you. No, it's nothing like that. They stare because they sense a little difference, you know. But everybody here look like you, me, everybody. I mean, you see all spectrums of black. Like, you just be here like, you're Tanzania? Like, really?